Hello. Wow. Okay, that was complex. Welcome to the stream. Sorry about the delay there. Um, yeah, OBS doesn't like me, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I'm live right now. I should probably record this just in case. Yeah, now I'm recording. Okay. Okay, well, welcome to the stream. Tonight, or today, we are going to be um, building a negotiation for Draw Steel. It is the kind of the big climactic moment, oddly enough, to this whole adventure that we've been building. Afterwards, I'll be sort of writing other moments, but I thought I need to tackle um, the negotiation first. So let's see. Hold on. YouTube's being weird here with this stream, and OBS doesn't like me. This has been recorded. This has been well documented that OBS doesn't like me. Um, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah. I need to build out this negotiation for the adventure. It's basically the central sort of tension of the adventure is that the High Elves are still, you know, working with Ajax to a certain extent by giving him magic items. And the town of, I believe it will be Dalrath Keep. I believe that's what it's going to be. They have been attacked by war dogs who wield these magic items. And so the heroes need to be sent to the High Elves to negotiate for them, basically just to stop for a little while. That's their goal. They can probably get more or less, obviously, than that, but that is their first and foremost. That's their goal. So that's what we need to build. And this is the negotiation page of the hero's book. It's a beautiful piece of art with Sir John and Vanticalisax and Embers. These are 3 heroes that will be in this adventure when I run it for my friends around the table in person. I made, you know, those heroes out as first level characters. And so I said, why not have them play those heroes, the heroes that are on the cover of the book. Seemed pretty cool at the time. So let's get started. A negotiation is basically like a talk. It's talking to with the heroes talking to anyone really, but in this case it's a high elf. In this case, I believe that's a devil. It's the horns and the hooves that kind of give it away. But it's basically just a talk. You're trying to convince someone of something, to do something. It's usually a call to action. In this case, it is a call for inaction. And we'll see how that goes. I have a general idea on who this person is going to be. Their name is The Last Drop of Wine in an Ocean of Sorrow. And I think that name represents a lot, and it says a lot about the High Elves, because the High Elves, about the character rather, and the High Elves, they choose their names, I think, and what if wants and needs had hit points? Yeah, exactly. Levi Phipps. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. So what you need to design with a negotiation are the motivations and pitfalls. Very, very important. And then you need to also say like the interest and the patience for their starting values. And I'll explain what that is in a little bit. But first I want to talk about the character and who I think this person is. I think that they are they're the leader of a sky city, one of the last sky cities. I want to show off the sky cities and the might of the high elves. Um, but obviously the sky cities are not a thing currently in Orden in the lore right now in the age of Ajax. But I thought, why not? It's cool. It's a sky city. Let's do it. And so they're the ruler of this sky city. But I think they have to, if they're going to give in to Ajax, I don't think that they just gave up instantly, like many other people who are living in this world. I think they had to get to the point of giving up. And so I have written down here they lost someone who lost someone to Ajax when they first refused his offer, and then he sort of rained down hate on them and then made them submit. And so I think they initially had another name. They were known as another name, and then they chose the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow as their current name because they are in mourning to some extent. And I think that them seeing the heroes trying to stand against Ajax is really it's going to have a certain type of, like, they're going to react a certain way. They're going to react pretty strongly. I think they're going to wish that was them to some extent, I think. And yeah, I think that they have turned sour. Certainly, they're like, if you look at the motivations right now. Let's look at this describes who this person is, right? Motivations: discovery. My agents have brought me many whispers, but this is news to me. This is also just generic. This is a generic, basically, basically stats, generic stats from elsewhere in the Heroes book. This is from the I think it's for the director, that chapter towards the end of the book, and I just yoinked this one because I thought, wow, this has personality and I like it, and it kind of works for me. And then I tweaked the stats here. I don't want this to be a difficult one, so that's why I'm having interest 3 and patience 3. It's pretty average. I think it's on a scale of 5. I might bump it down to patience 2, maybe, or interest 2. I'm the one or the other. I'm not sure. So discovery. My agents have brought me many whispers, but this is news to me. Who else knows of this? Wanting to know more about the heroes. Also, just we can make up our own text here. What's important is the word discovery and what it means to them. So if you're writing a negotiation, you're going to pick from a list of predetermined motivations or pitfalls. They're all lumped into one. So you can have discovery as a motivation, or it could be a pitfall. And then what you do, they sort of give you an example of what benevolence is, right? And what it could mean for your character, the NPC rather. And that's very, very helpful for us because we know what benevolence really means and how it can be used as a pitfall and as a motivation as well. So we might be changing these quotes around a little bit. So the next one is freedom. They want to be free. They want to, so with discovery, they want to have information. They want stuff. They want to know as much as humanly possible, or elfly possible. And then freedom, they don't want to be shackled to Ajax. They don't want this deal with Ajax. But if Ajax can tame, as it were, or make the high elves submit, then what's one band of rat catchers going to do, right? Peace, which could mean a bunch of different things. Like peace is they want peace. They don't want their people to die, really, but then they also want vengeance. They want vengeance to a certain degree because they want they don't like the situation that they're in, and they want Ajax dead. That helps the heroes in a certain aspect, um, because they want they want Ajax and his his minions to be gone. That's a good thing. But how much can the heroes actually do? That's the big question that the high elves are going to be asking them. Obviously, the heroes are going to do whatever they can, right? Now, they're pitfalls. These are things that you don't want to mention in the negotiation. And so it's useful to know what topics to avoid. Benevolence, greed, justice, protection. And I don't. This was another given one from the directors for the director's chapter. I don't think this sentence applies, or it might. It might. I think it's kind of like they've given up a little bit. And then depending on how this negotiation ends, they will have an interest level of 0 to 5. And the different characters all want the exact same thing. It's the characters all want the exact same things. It's the circumstance that's the problem. Like, yeah. I mean, the trick with this character is that I'm going to make them a little insufferable. I think you have to make. I think it'd be fun if the whole adventure is building to this one moment of the negotiation. They've been, talking to different people on their route. They've been listening to maybe the Black Iron Pact within that encounter that we've already prepped. We have all these moments where they can learn about the high elves, specifically this high elf that they're going to be negotiating with. And they're going to, hopefully, if I do it right, they're going to know a few of these motivations and pitfalls just naturally as the adventure progresses. But then they get there, and the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow is going to be kind of a meanie. I think rude, certainly. And maybe not that great of a leader. I don't know. I don't think you can really blame them too much, because it's, Ajax is very, very powerful. So there's going to be that angle to it, but also they're going to be very difficult to deal with on a personal level, because you're like, I need to negotiate with this person, but they are so difficult. They don't want to be nice to us, something along those lines. They're just so insufferable. So that is, I like that little tension there. High elf noble, rude, no. What? No. Yeah. I think that'll be fun. Because it's also fun to play that kind of character. I've played that character a bunch of times because it's fun. Because you get to be rude to the characters, not the players, obviously, but it's kind of the same thing by extension. And if you've been building up to this whole moment, the whole adventure, they've risked their lives to get there. They've risked their lives to they've had 3 other combats, and they're finally there in front of this high elf, and then they don't really care. They're very rude to you. Yeah, that feels right. Because otherwise, like, it's like, how would you react? You'd be like, well, I don't really care about your Sky City, but the people of this town do, and they have to think back to the people of the town. I like this. So uh, yeah, this person is um, well connected with discovery, likes freedom, covets freedom, but can't have it. Um, Wants peace as well. They just want to be kind of left alone a little bit, and then they also like, they want vengeance, and they don't want to be benevolent. They've turned from being benevolent, I think, to no longer being that way. No longer really caring about their citizens, because the only citizen that they cared about died. The only person that they had a real connection to died because of Ajax, and so I kind of like that angle to it. And maybe they can change. I think the negotiation system really works like really really well, because you could even change their perspective. This high elf, you could change their perspective in just one conversation, with saying like, hey, we need to save these not these little people, these civilians, these humans, and you are the key to doing that. All you have to do is just say no to these war dogs, or just put them off for just enough time, so that we can then go and take care of them. And that's the whole adventure. Is this first part is all about that negotiation. And if they fail the negotiation, it's going to be much more difficult for them. And the town is they're gonna have to have a whole other. That's why I'm only kind of prepping the first part, is because depending on the negotiation, there's going to be a huge outcome. The adventure takes a different. It's probably going to be shaped in a different way. So yeah, we have our motivations here. We have our pitfalls. We can go through the other motivations and pitfalls here. Let's go to just one page, just a single page here. So we have. How does this look in OBS here? Let's see. All right. Yeah, that looks good enough. So interest and patience. So the idea is that you are trying to hit upon some of their motivations and avoid their pitfalls during this conversation that happens in a dialogue. Basically, just it's the heroes present an argument, and then the NPC they make a roll, and then the NPC, depending on the roll, either agrees with that statement and says it increases their interest, or lowers their interest, or keeps it the same, or they're trying to get the interest higher, and then it's the patience that ticks down with each different argument that they make, with each new argument, unless they hit upon a motivation. And if they hit upon a motivation, then they have not a bane, an edge on that test to influence them. And then, of course, they have a bunch of other perks and things during character creation that they can take to help in negotiations as well. So benevolence, we already have that as a pitfall. Discovery as a motivation, certainly. Freedom as a motivation. Greed as a pitfall, yeah. Higher authority, which I was gonna have as a pitfall, just because they want to be rid of all that. They don't want higher authority. They should be the highest ones. They are high elves, by the way. So justice is as a pitfall, because there is no right and wrong, right? Right and wrong. There is no right except what strengthens the kingdom, and there is no wrong except what hurts it. So I really like that quote. Again, this is just taken from page 389, the Duke negotiation stats. Legacy, I was gonna put legacy somewhere in there, but I think they are more about the here and now. I think they're very, very influenced by the here and now. This noble, because they're stuck in this sorrow. They're stuck in this in mourning, basically. Peace, I put as a motivation. Power, I didn't put in there. I don't think that they covet real power. They covet uh, like peace and whatnot. But I think it's more of, it's not quite power. It's more freedom. Protection is a pitfall. They don't need to be protected. Revelry I didn't put in there, but it would definitely be a pitfall if I did put it in there. The thing is, you don't want to throw all of them in there and categorize them as either a motivation or a pitfall, because then you just have an edge on all of your tests, or a bane, either an edge or a bane every single time. I don't know if that really works. And then these are all the other rules for starting a negotiation. But it's basically just going to be, I heard that you were coming because the town sent word. Let's talk. And that will kind of be how it starts. So now what I'm going to do here, I had a long, I was thinking really, really hard about who. Oh, Greed, are you under the impression that these artifacts are being sold? Ooh, I like that. I like that. Yeah. These. I like that. I like that. This isn't going to be a published adventure. It's fine. I can steal things from chat. Yeah, I like that because it's, again, these need to be things that they can say in response to someone bringing up this subject, either the motivation or the pitfall. So that's a really great comeback. You have to, it's almost like you're writing quips, right and wrong. There is no, yeah, I like that. I like that one as well. Or something along the lines of, as long as Ajax lives, there is no justice. There isn't, yeah. We do not decide justice. Yeah, as long as Ajax, as long as the Iron Saint lives, we are not the ones who decide justice. Decide isn't the right word. Word justice. Yeah, I know it makes it. Yeah, having a quote or two in the chamber is so valuable. That's how I usually prep. I usually prep a couple lines of dialogue that are just like, hey, this is what I need to say, and this is what we need to talk about, and then have a short paragraph at the beginning that explains what they're about. But usually by the time that I'm running this adventure, I've plotted a bunch of it out, so I know it pretty well. I know where I want it to kind of go. Of course, everyone at the table gets to decide where it goes ultimately, but you do have a certain, there are certain railroads that you do, you kind of have to put them on a little bit to some extent. There's an adventure coming up in the next few weeks that I ran, and it'll be on the channel, where I didn't think too much about the NPC that I had put in front of the players. Not really. It was a person that they have to interact with for a very specific goal. And in the moment, one of my players suggested something in Discord, and I'm sure it's in there. I'm sure there's going to be footage of me reading it on camera and being like, oh my God, that's an amazing idea. And it completely changed the adventure. And it made it a very personal, very, very personal adventure. And like character driven as opposed to what I had prepped, which was um, a very sort of action driven, I suppose. So yeah, so let's go through these a little bit. My agents have brought me many whispers, but this is news to me. Who else knows of this? I kind of like this one, but discovery. What could discovery mean to this high elf? You know, do you know where the war dogs live, or something like that? You know, maybe they don't know. I think it's it is. It is. I think the war dogs, just to give you some more context if you've missed the other streams, the war dogs have been attacking different towns, and nobody can pinpoint exactly where they live, and that's because they are living on this mobile laboratory that's kind of on I forget how they put it, but it's like on railroads, I think, or not railroads, on wheels. It's almost like a giant tank that's also a tower, like a wizard's tower that's on wheels, on tank treads, I guess. Yeah. And it's gonna be something to imagine, right? I gotta describe that really well, but that's pretty much what it is, and they can't necessarily pinpoint their exact movements. They can track them, obviously, but they don't know what are these huge tracks. Well, I don't know what those are, and they might ignore them and not go after them, or any scouts that they send might be killed by the war dogs. So maybe it's valuable for them. They want to know where the war dogs are so that they can also take them out. But I feel as though the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow is kind of also resigned to this new life that they live, unfortunately. But that information would still be valid or invaluable, you know? So maybe my agents have brought me many whispers, but this is news to me. What else? Who else knows of this? I hope you can't hear that. I don't know what my neighbor is doing out there, but they're making a lot of noise. And the dogs downstairs don't like it. Okay. We can come back to Discovery. I think Discovery is important because they want to know. They're looking for any other avenue, right? Yeah. Okay, good. I don't know what they're doing. They're making a lot of noise out there. Okay, freedom. There once was a time when I was able to rule my city unfettered from certain tyrants, but those are but a distant dream. That one's perfect. I didn't write that one. Did I write that one? I might have written that one. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's good. Freedom, good. Peace. We have stability. We must have stability. I will sacrifice anything and anyone for this. That doesn't fit this character really. We must have stability. We'll sacrifice anyone. Well, that also has the double-edged sword of like, I'll sacrifice anything. I'll give anything, or I will give away anything. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the. I'll give anyone for stability, for just peace. And I'm not sure if they have peace right now. They're not necessarily at war, but it might be peace, but it's certainly not freedom. So I need to rewrite this one because it's we need stability. We must have stability. That makes sense. But I'm not sure. Yeah. We must have stability. I will sacrifice anything and anyone for this. I'll come back to this one. I'm gonna put it in brackets to remind myself that we need to change this one. Vengeance. There is one. I will not speak their name. who thinks I have forgotten what they did to me. Someday they will discover that I have a long memory. This is a little overdone because we know who this person is. I don't think we need to say this. But there is one. Ajax, I'll just put this, just Ajax. Ajax thinks I have forgotten what they did to me, what he did to me. What he took from me. Someday he will discover that I have a long memory. Yeah. I like that. So this implies that it's been a little bit of, you know, a little bit of time, for sure. Benevolence. Do you think I act because I love my fellow people? Half of them are worthless, and the other half are villains. But without them, I'd be lord of nothing, so I must preserve them. This second sentence here, half of them are worthless, and the other half are villains. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to cut that. And I needed something else. I need a different sentence there. Oh, maybe half of them are worthless, and the other half are worthless. And what's the other one? Maybe spies or something. Maybe. And the other half. Ooh, resent me. I like that. I like the idea that, you know, the whole Sky City kind of blames them for this. I like that. Okay. And then justice, as long as the Iron Saint lives. We are not the ones who word justice. What word would fit here? Who? We're not the ones who. Oftentimes I will. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Resent me. There's gotta be that element of it. Once we have all this worked out, then what we're gonna do, and then the response and offer and all that, we're gonna go back to other points that I can find in this adventure, and we're gonna seed all of these motivations and pitfalls, and we're gonna have different conversations. We're gonna have different moments in the adventure where the heroes can either, through active, like talking to people, or through like overhearing others, they can learn of all these things. So we got to get these right, and we got to get the right mood for it. We are not the ones who, as long as the Iron Saint lives, we are not the ones who blank justice, who deal injustice, who decide justice. Decide isn't the word now. Who? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is here. We are not the ones who, because it's important. It's important what it's the, you know, who deal injustice. As long as the Iron Saint lives, we are not the ones who deal injustice. We are not the ones who. Yeah, we'll just put that. I'll put some brackets on there in case I can come up with something. We don't live under our own justice. Maybe we're not the ones who deal injustice. Yeah. And that's kind of just freedom, I think. So protection. I don't care about saving lives. We're all doomed to die. The question is, what will live on after us? And that's almost like legacy, which is another motivation or pitfall. Yeah, I don't know if this is hugely entertaining for anyone, but I'm just kind of figuring out how this person talks and how this person, uh, yeah, acts and their story. Um, I don't care about saving lives. We're all doomed to die. The question is, what will live on after us? Protection. No. What will live on after us? I don't like that. Um, I don't care about saving lives. We're all doomed to die. We're all doomed to die. And face the body banks. Hopefully in that order. I like that. We're not the ones who deal in justice. We're not the ones who dish out justice. We're not the ones in control of justice. Nah, I'll figure it out. Do you think I act because I love my people? Half of them worthless, the other half resent me, but without them, I'd be lord of nothing, so I must preserve them. Master Jackals. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Thanks for sharing your process. I haven't had a chance to run a negotiation set yet, so this is cool to see. Yeah, it's a muscle that I have not flexed very often because it's just not something that's come up in games generally, and then specifically for Draw Steel, like it hasn't come up. It doesn't come up in 5e. Like that's the game that I predominantly ran before Draw Steel, and it just doesn't come up. There's not a system for it, and it's a totally different thing from anything else in that game. So, and it's a cool system. I really like it, and I want to get better at it. So that's why I wrote one in. So we'll figure all this out later, right? There was once a time when I was able to live. Okay, that one's good. My agents bring me that. This one still is a bit. It needs work. Discovery. My agents have brought me many whispers, but this is new to me. This is news to me. Who else knows of this? Yeah. Let me think. Does Discovery fit in here? There's a clear thing here, right? There's a clear talk. There's not a clear talk. There's a clear message here, right? They want freedom, they want peace, they want vengeance. They want Ajax dead. They don't want to be held down by the Iron Saint. And then Discovery is kind of the one that's out of nowhere. That doesn't quite work. I think I'm going to cut Discovery. Right? Just advantages, not like it. Again, and then this is also thinking about, think about the characters very complexly. This is that, just with rules, It's literally having the heroes think about this person and think, well, what do they actually believe, and what does motivate them? What's something that would piss them off if we talked about? And I think it does. From a hero's side, from the hero side, I think it's very it's easy. It's like talking to any other NPC. It's just you have to do a little bit of research in it. But again, I don't want them to. You can discover your motivations and pitfalls in the negotiation, but I don't want to I don't want the heroes to have to rely on that, because I want to do a halfway decent job, and they should already know. They should already know. There should be a characterization of this high elf that is already quite clear throughout the whole adventure, by reputation. They should know them by reputation. It's very important that they know if these heroes can pull it off, but it's kind of bending it too much and kind of folds into all the others. Yeah. Strict rules to convince the players to say things other than "we're the good guys, just listen to us." Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. I think it's really different from other other games, for sure. Hello, Andrew Strait. You're from the other streams. I recognize your name. Met out. I don't know what that means, but I'm glad you're here. So now we have to figure out what the response and offer is going to be. So very, very easy to think of, right? What do they want? They want, this is going to be in brackets because you actually have to give them like a quote and stuff. Well, not necessarily, but high elves will stop, will it's not even trade. Pause will stop. Again, trading is not the right word. Trading with the war dogs for now. But you have to take them out ASAP. Interest 5 would be not impossible if they have interest 3 already. That's just 2 good arguments away. 2 good arguments away. So yeah, that's one that might be brought down to 2. I don't know. I'm gonna have to monkey with the numbers there. I think interest 5 would be you get a retainer. All of this, and get a high elf retainer to help with the task. Yeah. Now I gotta figure out who a high elf retainer would be. Sounds like meat out. Oh, okay. To distribute something in portions. To apportion or dole out, typically used with justice, as in met out justice. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Who met out justice. Mete out justice. I like it. Well, this is a yes, but actually, I just wrote a yes, but the high elves will stop, but that's not the kind of but that they're talking about. They're talking about like a more substantial but. I'll just there. But what's the but? You don't have long. I think you don't have long. I think it'll be like you have 1 week. That puts the pressure on. Because then, yeah, that puts the pressure on. Because then now, well, yeah, but you have only 1 week. and then we could start the clock then. And then you only have, so many days. You only have 7 days to get this whole thing done. So then it limits your respites. Maybe you can only take 2 more respites or something like that. Maybe we could just gamify it, kind of like put a quantity on it. Because travel time is something that is totally different for Draw Steel than it is for like 5e, because you can have multiple days. An adventuring day could last a week. So yeah, no more than two respites. No, but we can't. But here's what we know of where the war dogs live. No is pretty easy to say. No, we're not going to do this. No, I guess. No, we're not gonna. We won't stop this. I'll just come up with a creative way of saying no. And then we have no and, which is if they get 0 in the interest, which is not likely. No, and you are hereby banished from the Sky City, from my fair city. Yeah, something like that. Again, I'll go through another pass of exactly what they're going to say, but this is the gist. This is all you really need. And then I think in the moment I could also just say, yeah, this is kind of, I can feel out how the conversation's going, and then I can just say whatever I want. And, a lot of it is just playing the character. I feel. But yeah, it's really this easy. The no but should also be adding to the yes and. Added to the yes and the no but. We can't, but here's what we know of where the war dogs live. What do you mean by that? Catazor. Also, hello. The no but. If the interest is 2, the NPC can't give the heroes what they want. However, they are willing to offer other less impactful goods or services in exchange for whatever the heroes have promised. Oh, they're willing to offer. Oh, okay. The guild master might not be willing to spare any troops to fight Lord Saxton, but could instead offer the latest spy reports on Saxton's movements in exchange for the jailbreak. I feel like that's what I just said, right? That's what I have there. Yes, and... Oh, putting that information in the yes and, so they get the whole thing, every good thing that they could offer them. I understand. The high elves stop trading for the... we know of where the war dogs live. Good idea. Yeah, thank you for catching that. Yeah. Okay. No, it's pretty simple, actually. I like it. So, and this is the thing. If they're banished from the city, then I don't think they get this encounter, which takes place in the city. So that's interesting. Fair City, they don't. They're not there during the deal, and thus skip that encounter. I don't think it's very likely that that's going to happen, though, given the starting the starting positions here. Which again I might drop interest down by 1, but I think this might be good. I don't know. I think I'm going to run this twice, this adventure. I think I'm going to run this once for newbies, for like with pre-gens and everything, and then another time for the channel. I think I'll record it, and I'll look for folks to play who are not new to the game. So I think this will change depending on that group, the groups. The no and could also pass information to the war dogs about the hero. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Is that too? Yes. Okay. So no and then they pass information of the hero's plot to the war dogs. I don't think that this is something that the High Elves would tell them, because that would be stupid of them. So, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I try so hard. I don't think that they would tell the heroes, hey, we're gonna go to the war dogs and dispel them, because that might provoke quite a reaction from the heroes. But and it might start combat in an area in a scenario where they don't. I don't want it, certainly. And I don't think that. Well, it's not. That's also not heroic. So, The negotiation is over. Attack on the city. Unless they're ejected from the city. Uh-oh. Okay. I think when is that? What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Yes? Yes, tomorrow's Thursday. I think I'm going to be doing the montage tests tomorrow at the same time. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be streaming those, and they've got to be fun. Again, I have to cut a lot of this down. I got to cut so much of this down. But it is something like I do want to, sort of give the players the rundown of who Ajax is, but I think this is a little much. This is a little much. And then this might be much, but I don't think I'll read this out verbatim. I think I'm just gonna say this type of person, this, a Hakan, a devil, a revenant, a dwarf, and a polder walk into a tavern. It's gonna be fun trying to figure out what that is gonna be. We're gonna be playing a game of crowns and knaves. Let's see how we design that. But where am I going here? I am going to be looking through. That's this next step. I'm gonna be looking through this adventure and trying to figure out where I can sort of seed some of these motivations and pitfalls in the adventure itself, so that by the time they actually get to the negotiation, they know quite a few of them. So maybe in here, when they first, the first and finest, they have a couple of quotes here, maybe. I'm just going to write a couple of quotes here. So now we go back here to the negotiation, and we're going to pick one. What would come up? If it's the context here is going to be that this rival party, which is the B plot of this adventure, the rival party is uh, they are they are sort of they want to start gambling with the heroes, and I think that there could be a little shop talk that happens during this montage test. Maybe one of them takes him aside, and I speak in character in between roles or something like that, and hopefully they can intuit what I mean by it, and this little details that need to stick out, and they need to be a little bit obvious, Um, they're also they've been following the heroes for a while, and they're kind of like a thorn in the hero's side a little bit. They're their rivals, but they're also very annoying, which is always a fun character to play. And I have 5 of them to play. So I kind of think freedom, maybe. I think freedom or vengeance could work because freedom is them kind of bringing up that it's like an offhanded comment, something to the effect of like will to kind of instigate. I mean, only if the heroes know that they will enter negotiation with this person. Don't know if they will keep track of it if they do not know a negotiation will come. Well, that's the thing, is that they'll know that an adventure, when the adventure starts, they will know that they're going to be getting into a negotiation. I guess when just after the first combat, I suppose. So maybe we don't seed it that early. Maybe it's just kind of like a. Maybe it's a little early. Yeah. Um, yeah. Maybe it's a tiny bit early for that. Quotes for the negotiation. That is a good point, though. If they don't know, that was kind of the problem. I ran a playtest of the very first packet that they released for patrons of Draw Steel when it was still 2d6, and it was like the Kobold Tower, and there was a negotiation right in the middle, and we didn't know that it was coming, and we didn't really know the rule, or the heroes didn't know that it was coming, and so it was difficult to negotiate with I think it was like a god in the tower of some form or fashion, and yeah, it was difficult to negotiate with someone you didn't know was going to be there, and especially since they're a god or something. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in this combat. I know that the Grizzled Dragon Knight is going to be there. I need to come up with a name for that. Name. Put that in bold. Because I know Sir Vanticalisax is a Dragon Knight, is a character that's going to be in the game for the game that I run at the table. It's going to be like a pre-gen. So I want a moment between them, 2 Dragon Knights, They have vaults of crazy stuff. Give them a motivation. I have this crossed off now. Give them 1 motivation and pitfall for the high elves, but in form of various scrolls the players have to read through, make it obvious, but have them work for it. Yeah, again, I talked about this on this other stream. I did that before, and that to this group, and I don't think that's gonna work. So what form should they have? Maybe they've tried before. Maybe they've tried a negotiation before or something. Maybe add an NPC in the Sky City that is interested in the heroes being successful. Maybe. Maybe. I think here the constable, the Dragon Knight, is going to should probably say something like, "Here's a pointer." Yeah, here's a bit of advice. Or maybe it's the rival party. Yeah, maybe I was right with the rival party. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. The rivals say, "What, you expect them to risk their lives for nothing?" And that's a good, a good moment for the heroes to say, "Yeah, we're heroes." And with the history of the tower, blah blah blah. No, I don't think that will work. I think, yeah, we're heroes, and then rivals say something snarky, like, give them one of the motivations of pitfalls, right? Maybe they don't take it as seriously because it's from the rivals. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something like justice. Like they don't rule their own city. It's owned by Ajax now, or something like that. Good luck. They barely rule their own city since Ajax came into the picture. It might not be obvious enough. Here's another interlude here. I already have a note here. Say something about the high house motivation or pitfall. I think in the last stream we had names for the adorable pony: Bill, Jackson, Frank, or Pony Soprano. I mean, some of them are lore accurate, I suppose. That's the encounter there. An anti-Ajax faction could be an opportunity for a retainer. Yeah, maybe. Right now in the adventure, they don't spend a lot of time in the city before they actually get to the Lord, to the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow. Maybe I need to add something there. I think there's another scene here, probably. Rival in city. We make this. This one? Sure. I'll change the there. Arrival in the city, and they meet someone. Heroes are stopped by someone who, by a high elf detractor. No, rebel, who gives them intel on the last, let's just abbreviate this, the last drop of wine in an ocean of sorrow. Wow. Tilduios. I guess it can't be abbreviated, really. So yeah, that could be an opportunity for a retainer. That could be cool. And this could be another person who comes back if the future encounter, the encounter with the war dogs is it's the first encounter in the entire adventure, and presumably since they've started playing Draw Steel, that is a little rough. It could be a little rough. So maybe this is a person who could then come in and, I don't know, save them if the chips are down, you know? So yeah, that makes sense. So we have two opportunities for a retainer. Yeah. Yeah, I like this. I like this. Retainer ability. Yeah. I have to come up with a name. Which one do they hint at? They say, maybe they say, don't bring up this, right? Don't bring up which ones would they know about, right? They would know about greed. Yeah, greed. I think don't say they're greedy. They won't like that. These artifacts have been taken from our vaults. Maybe this person is someone that's secretly like close. Yeah. Someone who is someone who is close to the noble. I'm not going to spell out that whole thing again. To the noble, to the lord, I suppose, to the lord, but is talking to the heroes in secret. They later meet this person during the negotiation and to act like they just met. Something like that. Yeah. Give them a pitfall. Yeah, for sure. Now we have okay, the Black Iron Pact is another place where we can have a motivation or pitfall happen, and then we also have this other interlude, all we have left, which is a caravan of refugees looking for a new town, looking for a new life in the town that they just came from, probably Dalrath Keep, and their youngest was captured by the Dwarven slavers, which should come up later, but they should also, yeah, talk about one of the motivations or pitfalls of the High Elves. Which one would that be for this? Again, what would this one peasant know? What is the rumor, you know, on the street? Probably freedom, right? Because you have to contextualize it as this Polder family. They would think about it from their perspective. They would try to put themselves in the High Elves' shoes. So they would say, well, I mean, we would think about them. We would want to be free. We all want to be free of Ajax, but them more than others. They want freedom. They want freedom. They want to rule their own city. They want freedom. Yeah. They want freedom. Again, put it plainly. Say it in exactly the same, like actually say they want freedom. And I think that'll work. This is another thing that needs to be bolded, so I know that it's very important, as well as the adorable pony's name. Wend in Ruins. So this will be another. This is the other town that these Polder have are refugees from, and we have like some stormtrooper. Pride seems like a very good pitfall for the high elf. Yeah, pride could be good. I don't. Do we have pride as the thing is that you have to sort of get the same. There's only a few ones. I guess pride or revelry, something like that. I don't think pride is one of the ones that are in the book, and they only put a certain number of them in the book because or else you would be able it would be literally impossible to come up with you know, pull out what a motivation is for the players, right? It's very difficult to just say, oh, maybe they like this or that. It's hard to quantify it specifically. So if they give you, if like peace is one of them, you know, okay, that sounds like peace, whatever the definition and the words around it, right? You say it, except in this instance, we want to say exactly the words so that later they can say, oh, they want freedom. But you could also dance around it, right? Is there an opportunity for these ones to the Black Iron Pact to say something, or they have orders. What could the orders relate to here? I think there's a note on one of the Black Iron Pact. Ooh, someone from within the Sky City reports there's a spy from within the Sky City, right? Spies from have a letter. Spies from within the Sky City. The Sky City report that. Oh my god, which one was I talking about? Which one? Vengeance, that they want to seek revenge. No. This is the wrong one. It's not spies that report it. That's silly, right? I think this is probably just an assumption that the high elves want vengeance, and so the two humans who are having this conversation in the letters, they put it plainly. They say, well, the high elves, they talk about how the high elves are waiting, are the high elves want peace, but they also want vengeance, but they also want our throats. And then how would they say that? I'm putting my gold on them holding blades sheathed. How do you spell sheathed? Sheathed. There we go. Sheathed for now. Yeah. I turn this from a note to myself into what the actual letter is going to be. That's often how I write. Okay, they have a letter. This is important. Bold it. There we go. we'll do another montage test there. I think we probably have enough here. Enough of the, you know, we've seeded enough of these things in the adventure here. I think we're probably done. Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is very close to the end result of this document, how this is going to look for my notes. I'm going to trim a lot of this down, and I'm going to trim a lot of this down. Or I'm just going to skip bits from it when I'm at the table, but I have a bunch of it here. Certainly in the case of this, I think I'm going to keep the descriptions of all the baddies, the rivals, but maybe just trim it down a bit when I'm actually at the table. But yeah, this looks very similar to what I would use to run. Just a bunch of quotes. I'd clean it up certainly in these sections, but yeah, this negotiation is finished. It's done. It's been seeded throughout the rest of the adventure, so they have enough breadcrumbs to follow. But that's how easy it is, really, to write a negotiation. Again, seeding it throughout the adventure is just what I wanted to do for this specific adventure. But I would recommend doing it because the heroes know that they're going to have a negotiation. You want to give them clues on what these motivations and pitfalls might be. I think even at the table, I might have. I was thinking about giving them the list at whenever the negotiation started, but I think then I'm going to just give them the list right when they get the mission. Like, these are the things that they might say. These might be the motivations or pitfalls, right? Give them that list right at the start so that they can be on the lookout for them a little bit. That might be a terrible idea, though. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, I guess that's where we will leave things for tonight. Tomorrow I'm probably going to hop back on, and we're gonna design some montage tests. Montage tests, they're fun. They're fun, and I want to get very specific with these ones in this adventure. So we shall see. I think we only have like 3 or 4, maybe I have 5. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what I want to do tomorrow. So I'll be hopefully back on the same time, and hopefully without so many interruptions and delays from OBS. But today also the Delian Tomb, the penultimate episode, I believe, is going to be the penultimate episode. Just came out today, and it leads right into the next the finale next week, the final episode. We're going to record that on Sunday night. And I'm very, very excited for it. I'm very excited to see where it goes from there. I've asked everyone to sort of come up with whatever their epilogue might be for the story. If they indeed survive, who knows? None of us know right now. But yeah, that's Sunday that we record that, and then it's gonna be a quick turnaround because then I believe Wednesday or Friday I'll release that video, and then I want to stream my thoughts on the Delian Tomb and like the adventure as an adventure, and then also as a series on the channel as well, how I did as a director and what I thought about the adventure structure and some of my favorite moments. Yeah, so we'll do something next week related to that. I think probably after the episodes come out, maybe Friday. What am I doing Friday? I don't know. Maybe not Friday. I don't know. But yeah, sometime later next week we'll do something like that. But I can't think of anything else to say. I think we are. I think we're pretty much done. It is a gamey game. I think it's okay to tell the players this might tell something about the Lord's character and move on. Yeah, maybe. I don't want it to distract. I don't want that. The problem with giving them just a list is saying, hey, they're just going to ask them. They're just going to go down the list. They might just do that, and be very meta about it. And I don't like that. Yeah, I might just tell them, hey, you need to be on the lookout for who is this character? Who is this person? Be on the lookout for uh yeah, who is this high elf? What do they want? You know what you want, but what do they want? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I have got to go, so I'm going to sign off for tonight. Go watch that episode of the Delian Tomb right now. It's out right now, so go on and watch it. And yeah, until tomorrow, I'll see you then, I guess. Have a good one.